Alright, so I'll do a Graf Zeppelin game just for the lulz. Hopefully it doesn't suck. And I mean, I could leave this on. That's just damage. Well, whatever. Cable guy's derping around, so we'll just let him be what it is. Alright, so the Graf Zeppelin is a tier 8 German premium. Normally, we would just take the plain ones for the first 2 slots. However, if you were going to use the secondaries, you might be in a brawl, in which case damage control parties can extend the duration of your damage con, which will give you some increased fire, flood resistance, etc. So theoretically, if it lasts about a minute and a half, then that's going to work out for you. Slot 3, additional secondary range and accuracy. We do have torpedo bombs, or torpedo plane health, because the bombs are extremely inaccurate and the rockets are kind of awkward. So the torps are really the most dependable asset that you have. If you had any hope of using secondaries, you would want to go into concealment, as the difference between your secondary range and your concealment range is something horrendous. It's almost like 6 kilometers. So this at least starts to pull it down, and also we could bring it even further if we invest into Hidden Menace. Hidden Menace is currently bugged. That's supposedly going to be resolved in the next update, so I'm not going to mess with that today. But for the commander build, more faster, healthier, base 9-point build for every CV. Additional torpedo throughput, so that the torps that we do land are going to matter a little more. Embracing the secondary memes. We may not get to use them because, again, we are outspotted so horrendously, but it is an option. And putting the rest of the points in boost talents, as boost is always useful. Only flag I should be using should be the secondary flag to buff the memes, and that's going to be the thing. Hey Russ. Hey Jocka Diego. You love secondary Zeppelin? I mean, it's fun if you can use them, but you can't always use them because the detection is horrendous. I mean, it is terrible. At least, like, if you're using Hidden Menace, it goes down to, like, 12 kilometers, and your secondaries go out to, like, 9. But it's still terrible. You see, StatsBloke is testing a WoW's Twitch extension. Do I have access to it? No, I don't know what that is. Alrighty, so Johan de Witt probably has some pretty terrifying AA. Dutch cruiser's not a joke. And I don't know, we'll just figure it out. I'm going to start with bombs for scouting. Alright, so the reason I'm going with the bombs to scout is, one, because we're going to have quite a bit of engine boost here. And we can see if we can cruise control, although that might not be something I do, as I'm not overly concerned with the Graf Zeppelin bombs. I mean, they're horrendously inaccurate. So maybe if we speed up, slow down, we're going an average of about 200, 210. Which, you know, could be faster, but at least we're not just burning all the way through the boost to gain an additional about 13 knots. And what this does, by being in the bombers, is that if suddenly I trip over something that gives significant amounts of AA, like maybe a Holland or whatever, or, you know, we just suddenly got surprised by the Johan, I could double click. And if you notice, the flight preparation time is only 0.1, so we just double click, we're already in the drop animation, we can spend that time burning out to be able to get free from any kind of terrifying AA amounts. We have 6 planes here. Could try to strike the New Orleans. He's a little split off, although it looks like he's got defensive fire. We're actually going to drop a little early here, pull onto the target, which we did get something, but we lost basically all 6 planes for that, which is not really a shock, to be fair. We could try to make a run on the Megami or maybe the Izumo using the torpedo planes. Possibly something up here, but I do see that the Johan is going to be giving protection to that area. So big thing with the Graf Zeppelin, or the German torpedoes, are going to be high velocity strikes. I do see that there's some fighters up, but we do have a heal. It's only going to be 3 planes. We can probably deal with that. Let's see if we can kind of high velocity strike through this and also drop a fighter for some generalized spotting. Could probably strike the Vlad. Okay, so we're actually closer than I want to be. I would tend to like to start it around 6 kilometers. Just pop the heal here, which means we're gonna interact with those fighters. Maybe our planes actually get out before they latch, and looks like they did. And Benson AA, Megami AA just wasn't enough. But we only got one torpedo. One thing that the Graf Zeppelin torps can do is they can throw you off because they're actually much slower than you might think they are. Which is unfortunate, but that's also something that, you know, you learn to kind of factor in. You could take the talents to reduce torp arming time and speed up the torps a little. You could try to make something happen off of that, but just realistically, know that you're going to have to give a significant amount of lead, because the high velocity strike is actually pretty potent in that you're going to be zipping through their AAA at extreme speed and taking very little damage. Pop the engine boost and try to get into position on this. I think this is like a 4-second lead. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3, 4, shoot. They got a small bit of damage, 3k, not great. And this dude's just not gonna stop turning. So whatever, we'll place the thing, move on with life. Gonna go back actually to the torps. Could I make something happen down here? We have a lot of assets down there. I think this is probably the scary spot. And we don't have enough assets that I don't think I'm gonna be able to root out the Akatsuki. If I can work on the Megami still, that would be good. We just actually need to land fucking torpedoes into the Megami. Because there's, what is this, about 8 of them? 7 of them? Let's see. He just popped his fighter again. We're gonna try to high velocity this. Probably about there. I'm gonna drop a fighter, but that's not gonna matter. We'll just get out rather than throw planes away. The Graf Zeppelin doesn't have enough planes. We did actually lead better that time. We got all 3. That should be a significant amount of damage.
Autopilot mode enabled.
Because this guy is about to spot us, we actually do need to start moving. There's only 3 people between, well, us and lots and lots and lots of them. So I should have actually been moving quite a bit earlier. Let's see if we can finish off this Miyoko. Which we could with 2 successful citadels. God knows if that will actually happen. And already we can see the huge disadvantage that having this horrendous amount of detection means for our citadel, or sorry, our secondaries. Because yeah, I mean, it would be fun to get secondaries on this dude, but like to cross 4 kilometers, almost 5 kilometers just to get there, it's just silly. It's goofball. All right, so Miyoko's rushing on, or getting rushed by a Benson. We can probably cut him off with torps. At least slow the push. Those actually might kill him. That was a weird turn he just took. He's slowing down, so he definitely eats that torp. And Miyoko might be able to take him out at this point, because gun pressure will be fine. So, rockets now? See if we can find rockets over here. There's tons of assets. They're going to win the south. We don't even have to even look over there. That's perfectly okay. The Tiny Tims, whatever, that they have are 40mm pen. You know, we could actually stage off this island. Charles is hurt, but the Tirpitz isn't. How about we do something stupid like that? How about we try to get the secondary memes into in on the lulls here. Probably we'd just end up dying, but it would be hilarious, right? So we'll go ahead and pre-drop. This is probably going to be a one-way trip on a Massachusetts with a bunch of other ships behind it. Our planes do have very little health. We can block some of the AA with the little island thing there. And we have to remember, this is 4 seconds. This guy's moving at a pretty significant speed. 2, 3, 4. We get some hits into the superstructure, which is nice. All right, well, they're just full on going. If there was a smoke screen, it might be easier to go. But unfortunately, rushing Well, they've actually committed now, so rushing that many ships is just waiting to get murdered for free. So I'm not going to do that. We're going to start pre-dropping here because we're going to make a strike in on the Massachusetts, and because of that, we would fly past the Massachusetts, which means we'd just be flying into other AA and stuff. So there's no second strike opportunity here. So we're going to start our strike at around 6 kilometers. There we go. We're going to start accelerating, start the strike, and this is going to be a high velocity run. Hopefully we can actually see our target. He is turning, which means this lead will probably be okay. Down to just the one plane, which will get murdered, but those should all land. We can go back out with 5 torpedoes. We do have our heel, so we can strike in on this again. Should run with a couple of friends so they could smoke with me. Well, the flight instructor series is about kind of teaching the carrier more than, you know, trying to have like a lol-tastic experience. So, is the Graf Zeppelin capable if you've got a div that has smoke and they can smoke you in and you can secondary from a smoke cloud? Absolutely, that's powerful. There are some people that have done that and had really just redonkulous games, 200, 300,000 damage. Although in those games, the DDs wouldn't be doing any damage. Ideally, they'd be funneling it to the carrier. But we did get some strikes off. We got to use the high velocity capabilities of the torps to be able to zip in through AA, make the drop, and get out. We did actually land a few bombs, which is stunning because the bomb reticle is, or the AP bombs are extremely unreliable, and we got to see some of the rockets in play. It would have been nice to see secondaries, but the 4 kilometer gap is it's just too much to try to rush through to get to a surface ship. And we could have maybe braced off an island if it was more like a 4v5, so that it, you know, they brawled, killed each other, whatever, and got down to like 2 ships left. If they're coming around the corner, we could start getting our secondaries going and maybe burn them down that way. However, 5 enemy ships is a few too many enemy ships.